life. If you go back to the ancestral religions, what governed that whole sense of earth and body and community was a sense of a belonging together into a whole. And that's what Teilhard realized, that technology can move us towards a greater planetary wholeness, but it cannot do so without love, without compassion, without, peacemaking, and those values cannot be, in a sense, attained by technology alone. And that's why he advocated that evolution must be, in a sense, complemented by what we might call meditation or mysticism, that ineffable depth of ourselves. And that's why I'm thrilled to see at this conference, the types of practices that are built in here. That is the way forward. And the difficulty is, I think, today is, as Joanna said, finding that time. You have to intentionally create that space of centering, of silence, of being within, the withinness of our lives. So the withoutness is happening at such a rapid pace that we are, in a sense, fracturing. As technology speeds up, and it is speeding up because it's developing exponentially. This has been known for a long time. But our poor little brains can't deal with it all. So what's being sacrificed is that place of depth within us, the depth dimension, what we might have called in the past the soul, the center. We need that center. That center is the GPS of our future. And without it, we cannot really go forward adequately in a way that can bring this planet into a greater sense of wholeness and community. We have the capacity for a better Earth. We have the capacity to build a new world. I mean, AI is fantastic, that we could invent and create what has never existed in the history of the universe and bring it into existence tells us something about ourselves. But we humans must, in a sense, take hold of what really impassions us. What do we ultimately live for? Do we ultimately live for the next app, or do we ultimately live for the values of love and compassion, for belonging? And Teilhard thought that love is our truest core identity. Not love in an emotional sense, but love in the deep unitive sense. We have a need to belong. I think that's one thing technology keeps spelling back to us, why younger generations are constantly, tethered to their devices. We have a need to, because we're made for another. We're not made to be just simply isolated monads, little chips walking around. And so that's what Teilhard thought, that love alone can take what is deepest within ourselves and unite us in a way beyond ourselves. Can AI help? Absolutely. Will we stay as humans? No. We're in evolution. We're already on the next level of post-human life. And we have to, in a sense, build that post-human life into something that has dimensions, dimensions of compassion, dimensions of depth, dimensions of peace, dimensions of the earth itself, of what does it mean to belong to something more than myself. So I think the way forward is gleaning from the wisdom of the past. That wisdom is in our collective memory. It's always there. But if we're constantly in the unraveling of our attention and we're constantly being drawn out of ourselves, we never can really tap into ourselves. All that we long for is really within us. And I think what our challenge is today is to bring that within into dialogue, conversation, and building this earth together. So,
I think one of the things that, yes, beautiful. Something that you tapped into, I think, is that kind of connects us a little bit, is one of the things that you tapped into that I think is so important for us to acknowledge in the now is that when I was in the early days of working on AI, it was actually to solve the problem that we knew we would get here, that our brains would short circuit.